What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Tuesday, people, as we one of the big boys turning up today in the World Cup, people. France tonight against Senegal should be a very, very good game. We are doing a watch along for that, so make sure you're locked in. 8 o'clock kickoff, so I'll be live around 7:45. And looking forward to that. France, the favourites to win the competition. I have actually got a bet on them to win the tournament as well. So we'll be watching that closely. England tomorrow as well. Yesterday we did the watch along for Spain, Cape Verde. Big up to Cape Verde getting a draw against the European champions in their first ever World Cup game. But boy, we chose the wrong game to do a watch along to, man. The first 0-0 of the whole tournament, it was a stinker. All the Arsenal players on the bench, Lamine Yamal on the bench, Nico Williams on the bench. Stinker. Don't watch Spain games unless Lamine's starting. Yeah, I'm wearing merch. Do you know what, people? I don't even have to shamelessly admit it anymore. We won the league, people. We won the league. So I turn up and I just wear it and I don't even mention it. I was down at the Armory today. I thought, we'll have a look. We'll have a look. And yeah, I know I said about the big Adidas stripes, and they are a bit, but you know what? We're champions. I saw the Emirates for the first time in about 2 weeks. Every time I've been there, it's been so hectic. But today it was all calm. They've got the champions banners all over the place. And yeah, I went in there. I thought, let me just try it on. And there's more, by the way. I might have bought the tracksuit to go with it. So the fact that I was saying I'm not sure about it and then I bought it, some would say it's shameless, but I would just say, you know, I saw handsome. Cheers, everybody. That's what a Premier League does to you. You know what I mean? That's what a Premier League does to you, people. Sometimes you just got to let the Premier League, you know, just like a baby, just let it chill on you. You know what I mean? Don't there. You know, just patting it on the back, trying to make the baby burp. You know what I mean? That's what a Premier League title will do to you, people. I still forget that we're Premier League champions. By the way, a lot of you have been asking me about that trophy, so I'll tell you now, because I bought it off TikTok Shop. I don't even really use TikTok. It popped up on an advert. Let me give you the name of it, just so people know. And I ain't getting no commission off this. They should be, but what are they called? Premium Sports Cups. Premium Sports Cups on TikTok. It took about 10 days to deliver. So yeah, get involved. Get involved. Yeah, TikTok Shop, man. That's proper shameless. But the trophy was worth it. I don't use TikTok at all. As you can see, I never post on there. I don't like the app. But the trophy popped up. I said, yeah, I'll take that. Need a second. But you know what I mean? We need twins. You need the Prem there. Maybe the big ears, Champions League on there, on that shoulder, you know. But yeah. Yeah, the kit looks nicer than yesterday. You know, sometimes you look, you go, I'm not sure about that. You try it on and you go, yep, that'll do me. I'll wear that on holiday this summer. So yeah, but big up to everyone locked in today. That notification seemed to go out late because I listed this about an hour ago, and when I checked on YouTube, it was not even showing up for me. So I don't know if you guys got a notification late for that, but I don't know what's going on there. But we're here, people. No, I never got the medal, you know. Suddenly my gym is full of Arsenal shirts. It is, trust me, man. Everyone's wearing Arsenal shirts, you know. Oi, Jay. Yo, hey, you don't tell her that, though. You know, every day I have to say, you look great, you look great. Anyway, a couple things to talk about. Before we do get into the show today, there is some breaking news that kind of connects to Arsenal. It's not directly an Arsenal player. Big up to AJ, who's just put it in the comments as well. But Tino Livramento has suffered a hamstring injury that will force him to miss the entire World Cup tournament. England manager Thomas Tuchel is expected to replace Livramento in the squad. Trevor Chalobah has been called up as the replacement. So Trent still doesn't get called up as the replacement right back. He genuinely hates him. Although, you know what? Trent's probably one of them players that if you didn't pick me in the squad, don't pick me as no replacement. I've been saying for weeks, a lot of people have been saying, Livramento to Arsenal, it's going to happen. I said, what is the point in signing this guy? He is always injured. This will probably make Arsenal want to buy him. Oh, guys, the hamstring, guys, it's ready to go, guys. He played 17 games in the Premier League last season out of 38. He missed 21 games. Please, please, man, stay away from Livramento. He's a good player, but he cannot stay fit. And he's the hamstring. I think he done the hamstring in the season as well. He's all over the place. Knee injuries, hamstring injuries. Avoid him at all costs. Livramento is out of the World Cup, and he's been replaced by Trevor Chalobah. Don't understand why he was picked in the first place. You know, I said the other day that for me, I think Adam Wharton should have been in the squad. I think Trent should have been in the squad, and I think Cole Palmer should have been in the squad. Cole Palmer scored in the Euros final, the Club World Cup final. I think he scored or got an assist in the conference final. He's got that bit of magic. But yeah, listen, England kick off tomorrow against Croatia. I will be doing a watch along for that. And as I said, I will be doing a watch along tonight for the French, the favourites, who I have put a bet on to win. So looking forward to that game tonight, France against Senegal. Just please be a better game than that stinkfest that we did a watch along for yesterday. Although I'm delighted that Cape Verde got a draw. Big up to everyone. I saw you were hyping Jan Diamandueke yesterday. Do you know what it is, right? There's a lot of those players at the moment. A lot of them. And let's be honest, a lot of them are black wingers. They're black, they're quick, and you're not sure about their end product. We've seen it in the past with Adama Traore, with Saint Maximum. There was a time people were saying Traore was a £70 million player. Before you knew it, he was getting released on a free transfer. And now there's players like that as well. You've got Barcola, you've got Yan Diamande, you've got... Sometimes they do become top players. A lot of the time they just become quick players with no end product. His pace is unbelievable. Like, Hincapié is not slow, and he's blitzing him, like, in tight spaces. But his end product was very inconsistent. You know what I mean? I think he's better than Noni. I got to be honest. Noni doesn't produce numbers. That Diamande got 20 GA last year in the German league. But I don't know. It's just we lack a chaos merchant in our front three. I do think we just need someone that's better than Noni, of course, that causes you nightmares. I look at Doku for Man City. If you look at Doku's numbers, you'd look at him and go, nah, he's not that good. Like, his stats are not great. Look at Doku last season. He got what? What did he get for City last year, Doku? He got 5 goals. That's terrible, really. But when you watch him, you go, he is a nightmare. He's a nightmare. And sometimes having one winger that is a nightmare, it frees up the other winger a little bit, because then you double up on him and then it gives that guy a bit more space. I mean, they had 3 players on Lamine Yamal yesterday. 3 players on him. But I don't know. Diamande, I just don't think we're in for him. We were linked with him in April of last season. But it seems like Liverpool or PSG, if he does go. Why didn't we get Zaha in his prime? Well, we tried to. And obviously, I know quite a bit about that deal. Zaha wanted the move. Emery wanted him. Arsenal weren't able to pay the money, to be honest. Palace wanted about 70 odd million. And they wanted the majority of the money up front. And we signed Pepe. Basically, because Pepe, they gave us a good deal. Doku's buns, do you think? I mean, again, the numbers are not great. Scant said he's only 19, not the finished player. It's whether you can develop him. Somerville, Somerville for me, those kind of players, they're backup players. You know, I don't think Somerville is good enough to come to Arsenal and start left wing as the main guy. But you can get him cheap. He'd be a good option as a backup, but we need the starting player. You know, we need an upgrade. As I said, the left wing market is very up and down at the moment. You know, you're looking at Barcola, 70 odd million. I'm not sure about Barcola. He's rapid, he can dribble, he's inconsistent. You look at I mean, Gordon, a lot of us didn't want Gordon. Solis, who we're being linked with, is relatively unknown. Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Mane was like that player. Mane is the example of a quick chaos merchant player that became almost unplayable at times. Mane was ferocious at Liverpool, but we'll see. We'll see. But listen, I can't lie. I watched Diamande. He impressed me. He impressed me. It does show the state of football because players that 10 years ago you wouldn't even look at them. You're now going, yeah, I'd pay 20 million. No, 20, you'd pay 70 million for him. If you were forced to choose between Leao and Barcola, I think I'd take Leao. I've committed too much to it now. You know what I'm saying? I think I'd take Leao, but he'd be cheaper. Barcola would be 70 odd million. I think you get Leao for 50 million, but I don't think we'll get Leao. Definitely not. We're not even linked with him, even though they reckon Berta likes him. Big up Gunnar Void, who said Curtis short up late. Rogers, Barcola, or Diamande? That's a horrible question because I really like Rogers, but if you're playing him left wing, he wouldn't be my first choice. But then I think I'm caught up in Diamande. He's too quick. He's too quick. We're going to get Rodgers, in my opinion. I honestly think if you said to me now, yo, who are you going to buy left wing? I think we're signing Barcola. Barcola. I think we're signing Morgan Rogers. I think we're going to buy Morgan Rogers and play him left wing and tuck him in off the left. But listen, when we talk about left wingers, we mention about 10 different names in the comments. That tells you that there's a problem out there. Barcola, Leao, Rogers, even though I think Rogers is a great player, he's not a left winger. Solis, who we're being linked with. None of them really make me think, yeah, you are the answer, definitely. Not the way I want Vinicius Jr. or Kvara from PSG. Everyone's a gamble. Yeah, I really am baffled by this Tonali to Tottenham story. I don't understand it. I'm genuinely baffled by it. And the thing is, it seems like it's gathering some momentum. I don't really get how or why it's even possible. So, Ornstein saying Tottenham want Tonali from Newcastle. Positive talks between Tottenham and the 26-year-old. No contact yet. Transfer fee is the bigger challenge. They want 100 million for it. Number one, how can Tottenham pay crazy money for Tonali? Number two, why would Tonali leave Newcastle to go to Tottenham? I mean, that's just a sideways move. None of them are in Europe. None of them are really doing anything. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. Apparently, him and De Zerbi are from the same area, apparently, in Italy. So maybe he's rang him and said, you know, you're going to get whacked. I'll put you in the boot. That was my De Niro impression. I mean, it was more like Dave from down the road. But you know what I mean, people. Maybe he knows about the casinos in London. You know, some like proper late night quality casinos. So maybe he just wants to. I shouldn't joke about betting, really, should I? But you know, it's a gamble at the end of the day. And then I'm joking about it again. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Big up Elliot. Merch. Time for the first class mail. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. If Tonali goes to Tottenham, though, I just don't understand that move at all. He's being linked with big clubs, and then he might go to Nando's. Who knows, people? Who knows? Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk Arsenal. Let's talk about the manager, Mikel Arteta. Story came out last night. Hand of Arsenal broke it. Shout out Hand of Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is now set to renew his Arsenal contract. Arsenal approached Arteta earlier this year over fresh terms. The 44-year-old wanted to keep the focus on delivering major silverware before sorting his own future. The agreement is understood to be close, with the new deal expected to run for a minimum of 3 years. And the deal is expected to be close to £20 million, which will make him the highest paid manager in the Premier League now that Pep Guardiola has left. Pep was on just over 20 million. Let me just say this. What's very interesting is that they offered him a new deal before the end of the season. No trophies were in the bag. That tells you what the club was sort of thinking. What's interesting is that Arteta was the one sort of saying, yo, relax, I ain't signing nothing till I see if I win anything. So a lot of us were saying, look, if he doesn't win, they need to get rid of him. He might have been the one saying, if I don't win, I'm going to walk away, which is interesting. However, fair is fair. You delivered the Premier League title, first year in 22 years. I have no problem with the new contract. I have no problem. I'm fair about what I see. I said if he wins a major, give him the new deal. He won the Prem, give him the new deal. I don't really care about the wages. 20 million, 15 million, 12 million. You just do your job. Do your job. Roy Keane settings. Do your job. I want more trophies next season. Yeah, Listen, I'll be honest with you, and I've said this so many times, and you're spot on, Rowan. Josh Kroenke, I genuinely think has transformed this football club, along with Mikel. But a lot of it comes from Josh because he could have sacked him 3 or 4 times quite easily. He could have gone, yeah, he's got to go. You finished 8th, you finished 5th, you lost in, semi-final against Emery. You could have sacked him multiple times. He's genuinely said, listen, we're riding this till the wheels fall off. And look, we've got to the promised land, and he's still going to back him again. Massive deal, more money to spend. I respect it. I have to be fully on the train, man. We've won the league, people. Like, I'm not one of these people that just, I said if the information changes, my opinion will change. The information changed. He won the Premier League. Them celebrations at the Emirates, I won't forget them. So, but what I will say is a word that he uses a lot. I want to see him evolve. I want to see this guy evolve. Like, I don't want people to think because we're sitting here with a Premier League title that I'm just prepared to stink out the joint, like, if it doesn't lead to anything. I think we can play better football next season. I think you can let that attack perform with a bit more freedom and do less defending, because I don't like the fact that Saliba looks, and Saka and Rice, and we're in about injections and, Achilles injuries, and the long-term effect could be damaging. So he has to rotate better. You can't sign Norgard and then not play him. If you sign a midfielder, you got to trust him. So I got to admit, Stan Kroenke, I had a massive problem with, right? And when we was in America and the Kroenkes were there, I didn't even speak to Stan. I didn't say anything to him. Josh, I had a 30-second conversation with Josh because I thought he's going to want to prove a point, and he has. We've got Berta, who's elite. We've got Arteta, who's now a title winner. We even got the scout from Italy, who is meant to be fantastic as well. So it feels like as a club, we're pulling in the right direction. I need to now see a legacy. I want Arteta, if he stays here for another 3 years, I want to see, 2 FA Cups, 1 League Cup, another Premier League, and then a Champions League. I want him to walk out the door and go, I've won everything. Like Klopp did at Liverpool. I've won a Super Cup, I've won a Prem, I've won a Champs, I've won the League Cup. That's what I want to see. You don't win a league title and go, yeah, let's sit back now and chill. You got to go and... Because I look at the Premier League next year and I go, City have lost Pep. Man United have got Carrick. And they're in Europe. How are they going to deal with European games? Last year they had about 4 games. Chelsea look all over the place. I think it will take them a couple of years to get back. Tottenham are miles off. Liverpool might be back if it clicks, but can he deal with going to a big club? There is an opportunity now for Arsenal to go, we're the club with the stability. We've got the manager that's been here for a long time. We've got a settled team, of players. We're not going to change loads of players this summer. So I believe now there's an opportunity for Arsenal to go, over this next 3 or 4 years, we're going to go and win 5 trophies. You know what I mean? And we're really going to cash in on the opportunity that we've got at the moment. So wait there. I've got to deliver it at the door. And I haven't even ordered anything. I collected it from the store. Not even for me, people. Not even for me. I got excited. It ain't even my deal. I said, what? Merch to the door. I went and collected it. I wasn't even going to answer, but he was banging the door. I thought I was getting raided. Anyway, yeah, as I said, people, there's an opportunity for us to go and win multiple trophies now as well. Maybe I ordered it online and forgot and then went and collected it as well. Who knows? It ain't for me, this one. But no, 3-year deal. I have no problem with it. What I will say is, come on now, let's have a period of domination. You know, it's nice seeing all them champions banners up at the stadium. Everyone's buzzing. There's gold everywhere. It just looks great, man. But you know, you don't want, because things can change very quick. Wasim said, is Mikel Arteta a legend now as champions? I don't think so. For me, legend takes consistency. Like I said yesterday, I was having an argument because somebody said that Trossard was a legend because of his goal against West Ham. I said, a moment like that doesn't make you a legend. It's an amazing moment that became vitally important. But to become a legend, you've got to have a period of work that calls you a legend. For me, it's an amazing moment, and you go down in Arsenal history. Do you know what I mean? It's like a Aaron Ramsey almost. Like Ramsey scored, you know, winning goals in cup finals. But even Ramsey, you know, he ain't a legend. It's a legendary moment for the club, and he's a huge part of it. You know, is what I would say. Cult hero, legendary moment, legendary season. But to be a legend of them, I mean, okay, I'll ask you this: is Slot a legend at Liverpool? He's not, even though he won a league title, because he failed to back that up with doing something else. Yeah, Havertz scored the winning goal for Chelsea in a Champions League final. I'm telling you now, Havertz ain't a Chelsea legend. Far from it. You can't compare him to Drogba's and Hazard's and Frank Lampard's. But cult hero. But if Arteta can go and win more, is Aubameyang a legend? Aubameyang's like, he's not a legend, but he's a legendary sort of character. Like, I love Aubameyang. Like, no matter what people say, they can't make me hate Aubameyang. I love Aubameyang as a player. He's a player that as a kid growing up you would love. My son wanted Aubameyang's name on the back of the shirt. He's doing front flips. He's, you know, putting on the Black Panther mask. He's scoring the winning goal in finals, you know. Yeah, streets never forget Oba. Like, he was, again, he's another one of them players, like the right player at the wrong time. Do you know what I mean? Oba and Alexis Sanchez and Robin Van Persie, those guys could have been top iconic players at this club, but they were playing in the wrong team. Oba is like a legend as a fan, but he's not a legend. You know, you just didn't win enough. You weren't in a good enough team. He could teach, but bro, I was onside, man. They always say my goal was offside. Miles onside, I think. Anyway, Mikel may play great ball now since we are champs. I really hope so. I really hope so, because there's no way that Arteta, you coach with Pep for 3.5 years and you want to play crazy defensive football. You know what I mean? Yeah, I knew somebody had mentioned Almunia. Oba is a cult hero, yep. But he's just one of them players you won't forget. Sanchez in this team, I'd go as far to say we could have won the Champions League. We just needed one player like that. I think we could have won the Champions League final. But anyway, let's hope we get that player in the summer. But as I said, there aren't many of them. Those players now, I mean, Alexis now would cost over 100 million. Am I enjoying the World Cup? I'm starting to get into it. You know, it's very hard not to enjoy it once it gets going, because it's football, and I feel very relaxed watching it, which is enjoyable. Because it's not the jeopardy of watching Arsenal where you're nervous most of the time. In terms of the new contracts, Arteta's going to sign a new 3-year deal, which is fine. Stability, keep going. Let's see if we can build on the title win. Another player, well, another person at the club, a player, is set to sign a new deal as well. Arsenal are making strong progress on a new long-term contract for Jurrien Timber. Discussions have been ongoing since the start of the year, with broad terms now agreed. Only minor details remain. The Gunners view the Dutch international as a key cornerstone of their project. Now, I just want to look at some details around Timber. Timber, the player, of course, he's one of the best right backs I've genuinely ever seen at Arsenal. I don't say that loosely. For me, Lauren, Lee Dixon, then him. There might be ones from previous years before that. You guys may have watched them. But for me, they're the best three that I've seen at Arsenal. Bakary Sagna was a good right back, but he wasn't as good as the other three that I've mentioned, in my opinion. He's currently on 90 grand a week, 120 grand a week with bonuses. Contract runs out in 2 years. Again, if I'm looking at it from a cynical point of view, I think because of his injury problems, you've got to be careful not to go crazy with how much you give him. Aboué was good as well. He faded towards the end, but he was very good. I was at the game, Arsenal-Man United, when he crossed it, Henry headed it in. Brilliant ball. Little 1-2 with Rosicky. Great ball in. Henry peels off Ferdinand, heads it past Van der Sar. The Emirates erupted. I was going to say the roof nearly came off, but there ain't no roof. But do you know what I mean? Yeah, I would be keeping it below 200 grand, you know, just because we don't want to be in a situation where too many players are getting crazy money, because we are getting warning signs with Timber that, you know, ACL injury, this groin injury, he's had a few other injuries as well. I think you can give him maybe 150, 160, 170. He'll take that, nearly double what he's getting. But he's a fantastic player. Hopefully the fact that he hasn't gone to the World Cup, which is a bad thing, I would have liked, you know, for his confidence for him to have gone. Let's hope the one positive thing is that he comes back fit and firing. Timber's injury cost us the title in the first season. There's a very good chance it did. Petrol station friend Cedric. Yeah, what a legend. I can't lie, I think Sagna is better than Dixon. Sagna probably the most consistent defender we've had before Saliba and Gabby. As a defender, Sagna was solid, man. He got better and better. That was such an annoying time to be an Arsenal fan, because we were at a point where every time a player got really good, they left. Sagna, I thought, he's all right. Then he got better and better, and then he ended up at City. Van Persie, we literally waited years for Van Persie. He had, if you look back through Van Persie, he was at the club for years. He had controversy around him. He had injuries. He finally becomes the main man, and he's like, yeah, thanks a lot, man. I'm going to United. It was horrible times, man. Yeah, I am doing a watch alongside for France, of course. We're all Kylian Mbappe, bro. Come on. He's probably my favourite player in the world. I will always be watching. France against Senegal is a great game as well. Senegal are dangerous, by the way. That ain't going to be an easy game for the French. That's a tough game, but that France attack, turning up for a World Cup with Mbappe, Dembele and Elise is ridiculous. I don't even understand. If that clicks, I don't think anyone will deal with them. But you just never know. Deschamps will turn up with Rabiot and he might mess it up somehow. But if they click, I don't think anybody will get near them. Mikel, oh no, I read that one. Yeah, so we are doing a French watch-along. 8 o'clock kickoff. I'll be live 7:45. And we're doing a watch-along for England. Why do you like the Dictator? He's a great player, man. I've always been a fan. Like, when I saw him at Monaco, I thought, yo, this guy's electric. He kind of reminded me of, like, R9 and Henry a little bit. Not at their level, but the explosive pace and the calmness in front of goal. He then obviously was being linked to Arsenal, so I got really excited thinking we were going to sign him that summer, and he went to PSG, to his hometown club, and, you know, it's one of them. I've always been a big fan of Mbappe. Would you sell Gyökeres? I mean, I wouldn't, but if you can bring me a better striker than him, I'm not. People say, oh, you know, you've been Gyökeres' lawyer. Like, I'm not that bothered. I always said, for me, the best player at Arsenal is Saliba. You know, if you feel Gyökeres should go, he's not a world beater, but you do need to replace him. And whatever people think of him, we've won the league in the season with Gyökeres as our main striker. We never won it with Jesus. We never won it with Havertz. We never won it with Lacazette. We won it with Gyökeres. And I think Gyökeres can get better next season if we create more chances for it. Our chance creation is very, very low. Would you sell Eze? No, and I had this argument yesterday. A lot of people were going for Eze in the comments. I said, look, that guy's won us 10 points this season. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be selling Eze. I'd give him another year. I think a player when they've got that much ability, you've got to give them at least 2 years. I get it if you want to sell Norgard because he hasn't really proved anything. But ultimately, we want to see if Gyökeres is at the level or not, and we need to create more chances for him. If we're in this situation next year and he hasn't played great, then we can have a discussion. But the striker market's... Look, most Arsenal fans at the end of the last season, going into this window, were saying, let's get Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. And I was like, cool, I like Alvarez. I think he'd be a great option. He can link up play as well. He'd probably suit Arteta's style. They turned down 150 million euros, 129 million pounds. And by the way, he scored 8 goals last season in 29 league games. And you're not getting him for 129 million pounds. So you got to pay 135, 140 to get him for 8 league goals. That tells you how poor the striker market is right now. It is terrible. Absolutely terrible. So sometimes you're better off going, I tell you what, yeah, I would like another striker. I think Arsenal would be better off keep Gyökeres and go and buy like a Krupi or somebody like that, a young player that can offer something else off the bench, and see where we're at in 12 months' time. I think this is a terrible window to go and look for a striker. It's awful. Osimhen maybe, but he's on massive wages. Still Gyökeres and Eze slander around here while Pillowfoot and 29 is around. You only bro, this is what I'm saying. I said this yesterday. People can understand. I'm not like committed to these players for years. No problem. But Gyökeres first season, Eze first season, we've won the league with Gyökeres as our main striker. Eze's won us 3 or 4 games. Odegaard's been at this club for years, got 1 Premier League goal. Do you know what I mean? I think we're having a battle with the wrong people. You know, you got to work down the list. But yeah, listen, it's always good to have these discussions because we're always looking to improve. Let's talk about some transfer news. Big up to everyone locked in, just under 2K locked in. Apologies about the notification. I listed this stream an hour before and it wasn't even showing up on YouTube for me. It's like it was just hidden and then it popped up. So you might have got a late notification, but big up to everyone locked in. Would you take Darwin Núñez on a free? Even though I think he's a brilliant striker in terms of pressing, I wouldn't take him. His wages are big and he didn't work in the Premier League. He can't finish. You know, he's one of them. He'd make you headbutt the camera because he'll miss absolute sitters. I saw Liverpool actually being linked with him and Chelsea. I think Chelsea are in for him. See, how did Jamaica not qualify for the World Cup? Bro, it irritates me because it was the easiest World Cup they could ever qualify for. And they didn't qualify. Do you know what I mean? They're shambles. I always say it's the Jamaica Football Federation. The people that run the federation in Jamaica are an absolute shambles. And I call it out. And I've got connections with Jamaica. If they'd have qualified, I would have been over there doing some content. So for me to say this is, you know, they are a shambles. Absolute shambles. You know, they had a situation a few years ago. And I think I've spoken about this, but basically when Paul Hall was the manager, Paul Hall's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. When I played against him and he was also my assistant manager for a brief period of time. We had a conversation about him wanting to recruit top English players to play for Jamaica. And they had meetings and they messed it up. So, and you're talking about Jed Spence, you're talking about Ivan Toney, you're talking about Morgan Gibbs-White, players of that level. And they had players like Mikel Antonio. You're playing Suriname away. First leg in Suriname, second game in Jamaica. Jamaica fly to Suriname, play the game. The day after, they go to the airport in Suriname to get a return flight to Jamaica, and they've got no booking. JFF haven't booked them a return flight. They're sitting in an airport. Suriname are flying to Jamaica at the same time in the same airport, And Jamaica are sitting there, big Jamaica, you know, with Premier League players going, yeah, we ain't even got flights booked. While Suriname are flying back to Jamaica looking at them going, look at the state of these lot. They can't even get back to Jamaica. In the end, some of the Jamaican players are going, yeah, I'll pay for my own flight. But they didn't have enough seats on the plane to get the whole squad. So half of the squad flew out, the other half just sat there in the airport. Yeah, we'll leave later if we can get a flight. From there, how are you supposed to get Gibbs White and Jed Spence to go, come and play for Jamaica instead of playing for England? You ain't going to have that playing for England. You're staying in a 5-star hotel, your flights are booked, your food's there. Yeah, play for Jamaica, mate. You might have to book your own flight. So from there, they were done. If you get Gibbs White, Ivan Toney, and Jed Spence in that Jamaica team, they qualify for the World Cup. But they don't, and they're getting players from League One and League Two. So they got no chance. They probably won't qualify for a World Cup for about 20, 30, 40 years, mate, honestly. Yeah, cool runnings, man, you know what I mean? Sanka, bobsleigh. Make a bobsleigh team, people. Anyway, agree, Gyökeres and Krupi would be good. Gyökeres was related to minutes played. Third best striker after Haaland and Krupi, I'm telling you. Is Gyökeres an unbelievable footballer? No, he's not. But I'm telling you now, he's a goal scorer. And if the more chances you create, the more he's going to score. We have to improve our chance creation. Play for Jamaica. We got Cartel, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we do nice jerk chicken. Cartel music's good, and smoke as much as you want, but you ain't going to get a return flight. It's a shambles, mate. Yeah, that's why Leon Bailey stepped away. Although Leon Bailey, the only thing I say with Leon Bailey is he doesn't exactly play well for Jamaica himself, you know. But anyway, let's talk about this one. Very interesting. Reports coming out of Italy this morning. Arsenal have decided to accelerate a deal for Manu Kone and have agreed personal terms with the player through his representatives. Arsenal are now evaluating methods to present an offer to AS Roma, who value Kone at no less than 50 million euros. Now, Manu Kone is a box-to-box midfielder, more of a tackler, more of a ball winner, French international. He's in the French squad at the moment, 25 years of age, plays for Roma. You're looking at around £43 million. I mean, again, the only thing I would say when I've watched him, and I hope I'm not doing him a disservice here, because I do watch a bit of Italian football. I still love watching the Italian league. What I don't think is, I don't think he's amazing on the ball, to be honest. I would say he should be a little bit cheaper. He missed around 9 games last season. Yeah, 50 million euros, Roma. I think you'd have to negotiate. What I will say with Arsenal is that Arsenal have this thing of they negotiate deals to the point where they're ready and then they sort of choose the player. I wonder if Arsenal... What do you reckon? You think he looks decent on the ball, but I suppose, look, when you've got Norgard, he's going to be a lot better than him. Too similar to Rice. He's secure in possession. Okay, cool. Listen, you might have watched him more than... I'm not saying he's not secure. I'm saying he's not amazing on the ball. I think Arsenal are probably looking at Tonali, for example, who we know Arteta likes, and he's going, he ain't worth the 80, 90, 100 million that... So maybe they're thinking, let's just get a cheaper option. A story came out on The Athletic today saying that Arteta wants 4 central midfielders next season. Rice, Zubimendi, Lewis Skelly, and 1 other. So I wonder if Arsenal are thinking, we were going to go big on a centre midfielder, like a Tonali. We've then seen Lewis Skelly at the end of the season and gone, do you know what? We don't need to spend 100 million on a midfielder because Skelly is at a level that he's good enough to start. So rather than spending 100 million on Tonali, we can go and spend 43 million pounds on Kone. 50 million euros, 43 million. Buwadi's available at around 50 million. I mean, I wonder if Arsenal are thinking, rather than we were going to go and buy a starting midfielder, now we just want an upgrade on a Norgard, which Kone is better than Norgard. So it's interesting. I'm looking at, yeah, Cone Man music. Yo, that would work even better. Cone Man music. I'm telling you. It would be as well, by the way, the first French signing that Mikel Arteta has made. He hasn't signed a French player in his whole time at the club. Saliba was signed by Emery. Well, Marino, I think Arsenal consider Marino as more of an attacking midfielder. He doesn't really play in the double pivot in the two. So I think they want four that can play in the double pivot. Marino would be one of your more attacking midfielders. And then obviously you've got whoever stays out of Odegaard, Havertz, Dalman, Ethan, and Eze. There's a lot of options there. No French signing since Arteta's been at the club. Make Arsenal French again, people. We've had a lot of success with French players. Although not Sonogo, Scalacci, Silvestre. But yeah, if we're talking Thierry, Pires, Vieira, Petit, yeah, we have had some success. Manu Kone, would you guys take him? As I said, somebody just said in the chat, he's been picked ahead of Camavinga. I don't think he's better than Camavinga. I just think Camavinga is down to having a poor season at Madrid, not starting every week. And he's gone with him. But Kone, as I said, I reckon Berta's just negotiating deals with players and then they'll pick the one that they want. Kone for 50 or Bouadi for 70. It's Bouadi for me. Yeah, I mean, what I've seen at the moment, Bouadi looks more sort of comfortable in possession. He's younger as well. He's only 18. Kone is 25. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Let's see. But apparently we've negotiated terms. £43 million, 50 million euros. Roma did make the Champions League this season. Just looking at Kone's contract. How much does he earn? He earns £85,000 a week. So, yeah, it's not a difficult deal to get done. Josh says, big up Big C as always. For me, the players we've been linked with, apart from Rodgers, is concerning. I would like us to get top quality, ideally from the Prem. What's your thoughts? It's interesting, isn't it, Josh? Because the whole thing of winning the league was when we go into the market, we're now going to go for blockbuster players. I thought we'd go for, you know, like I've been saying, for example, go for Vinicius if you want a left winger. Aim for that kind of level of player. And it just doesn't feel like we're going to go for that. I think they're still sort of sticking by that policy of we want a player that's young with a lot of talent that we can turn into a superstar. Which, I mean, it works sometimes, I suppose, even if you look at the current crop of players. Saliba has become a superstar. Timber has become, you would say, with Hakimi, the best right back in the world. Gabriel is a world-class centre-back now, along with Saliba. Raya, is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So it does work. It's just in the attack, it hasn't necessarily worked, you know. We don't have an elite attacking player. We basically rolled the dice that Saka was going to become a superstar, which it looked like he was going to become that, but the injuries have slowed him down. So you kind of want Arsenal to get a ready-made one, but I just don't think we're going to. I think Rodgers would be the big signing of the summer, I reckon. I think that is going to be their big deal, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe they'll surprise us and do something. If we sign Rodgers and sign a really good left winger, I'll be very happy. If we're playing Rodgers on the left, I'm still not totally convinced by that. But we'll see. We'll see. Hope Vinny goes Saudi so I don't have to look at him play. I think Vinny's going to stay at Madrid, personally. I think he's going to see out his contract. He's got a year left. Cabo Verde here, silent listener, Chelsea fan. Hey, well done, man. I was very happy for them yesterday, man. The goalkeeper, 40 years of age. What a performance. Big up Blood Type Arsenal, new member. And he's gifted one membership as well. Big up. And we will have a member stream this week. We will. We will be there, people. Thursday or Friday. Probably Thursday we'll do it. As I said, for those of you who've just tuned in, I am doing a watch along to the French game tonight. I'll be live at 7:45. We also went over the fact that Livramento, who a lot of people were saying Arsenal were going to sign, has pulled his hamstring and he's out of the World Cup. So don't go anywhere near that signing. Yeah, we shouldn't have been buying him anyway, but this just confirms it. So, yeah, right. A couple of transfer stories as well. We did just talk about Manu Kone. This one's coming from Indicalia. So, I mean, take this with a pinch of salt because this guy is so unreliable. He lives off the fact that he got a big story correct last year and Ornstein added him and people started saying he's gospel, but no, I don't think so. Indicalia saying Kai Havertz is on Bayer Leverkusen's radar, although the Bayer Leverkusen sporting director was asked after we played them, would he like to see Havertz return back home? And he sort of said the door would always be open for him. A potential return to Germany is being discussed, but there's a major obstacle. Havertz currently earns around £280,000 a week at Arsenal. 280. For any deal to happen, the German international would likely need to accept a significant pay cut or negotiate a contract termination package with Arsenal to facilitate a move. Do I think this will happen? Probably not. Unless Havertz gets fed up of competing with Gyökeres for the main spot. I would say the other way. I think Havertz will actually sign a new contract soon. I thought Bayern Munich, if they came in for him, he might go. What people got confused with this, because I looked in the comments, was it says to negotiate a contract termination package. So people were saying, oh, Havertz ain't going to leave Arsenal for free. No, you can still sign for a fee, but get a contract termination package, i.e. Havertz on 280 grand a week, the highest paid player at Leverkusen's on 125, Patrick Schick. He would take a pay cut, but he would turn around to Arsenal and say, let's just say they give him 150 a week. Well, I'm on 280 for the next 2 years, so I need you to pay me some money to make up for the 130 grand a week that I'm going to lose. Arsenal would then probably give him some of the transfer fee to balance it, maybe 5 million of it. And that's how that package would work. I don't think he will leave to go to Leverkusen personally. I think if Bayern came in for him, he'd be tempted. But Arteta loves him and he seems to pick him in big games. I mean, whatever we think this season, it's crazy. But Havertz played in both cup finals, which when you think about it is absolutely crazy. Carabao Cup final, he started, and Champions League final, he started, both games, and Manchester City away, which was one of the biggest league games of the season. So it shows you how important he still is to the manager. I think Havertz will still be at Arsenal next year, so I don't really read too much into this story. I just think 280 grand a week for a squad player is insane. I think it's, even though Havertz has proved that, you know, he can pop up with a good moment every now and then, I just think that deal was absolutely... I'm not even crazy about the price. It was the contract, you know. I don't know if Edu negotiated that deal, but to give him 280 grand a week was a disgrace, you know, absolute disgrace, because when you give a player like that so much money, you've got no escape plan how to get him out. But I think he'll be at the club next year anyway. I think he'll be at the club. He's one of those players, he can contribute, but he's not consistent when you've got to rely on him constantly. I mean, you look at his numbers last year, he didn't play a lot. He played 12 Premier League games, got 2 goals. 6 Champions League games, he got 4 goals. Year before, 23 games, 9 goals. The year before that, where he was the main striker, 37 games, 13 goals. So even his best season at the club is less goals than Gyökeres. In the last 2 seasons, he's missed 15 in 24-25 games in the Premier League. And last season, he missed 26 games. So that's why I would start thinking about, should we move him on soon? Because he's 27 and he's getting injured a lot. But listen, it's a discussion for another day. I'd be open to selling him personally, but I don't think Arteta will. He loves the guy. Right, another transfer story, which I do think will have genuine legs in terms of this happening. This story coming out of Denmark. An exciting summer awaits Christian Norgård, who could easily end up in the black with Arsenal, where he still has a year left on his deal. A move back home to Bromby is presumably a year too early for the 32-year-old midfielder. Although the story says Ajax are interested in him. Bromby want to bring him home, but probably can't afford his wages. Again, this is the problem when you give these guys big wages. You can't get rid of them. He's on 65 grand a week. Now, a club like Bromby are not going to be able to pay that, but Ajax are being linked with him. And listen, respectfully, he hasn't played that much, so it's not like he's played and he's been dreadful, but he's not good enough. You know, we need to upgrade. As I said, sometimes if you can't get, you've got to upgrade the players at the bottom. So you buy better players and then maybe some of the starters end up becoming squad players. But Norgard, for me, clearly the manager doesn't trust him because Rice was taking injections for his back. Zubimendi looked exhausted and he still never turned to Norgard to play. So clearly there was a quality issue. He must have signed him, looked at him in training and gone, nope, not for me. So yeah, it's that deal definitely. I think even if we got 5 million for him, the way we sell players, we get pennies for him. But it's a mad one. Is Tonali drunk? Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening with that one. Why Tonali seems interested in a move to Tottenham. Do you know what I think? And by the way, I don't know if you guys seen, somebody mentioned Somerville earlier. Manchester United are being linked with him. 50 million is how much West Ham want with for him. So quite expensive considering they got relegated. I think a lot of teams thought they were going to raid West Ham, but they're still asking for like 80 million for that Fernandes and 50 million for some of them. But yeah, in terms of Norgard, you got to move on from him. He's not good enough. Tonali, yeah, oh, sorry, that's it. Tonali might be thinking. I get the impression now that Newcastle are in a situation where they can get raided for players. I reckon a lot of these players 2 years ago would have looked at Newcastle and gone, right, won a Carabao Cup, richest owners in the world. They're going to have an unbelievable training ground. They're going to start buying top players and win trophies. And all of a sudden, they lost Isak. They wasted the Isak money. Alanga, Wissa, Voltemada, none of them worked. They've missed out on Europe. Eddie Howe's job's under pressure. And these guys are going, yeah, that's it. I'm not waiting around 2 or 3 years to see if this project actually kicks into gear. So, you know, Gordon's jumped ship. Lewis Hall apparently being linked with a move. Tonali wants out. I think Newcastle might get picked off this summer and lose like 2 or 3 of their best players. Remember when Newcastle wanted Mbappe? Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I like Newcastle, but I just think they're going to lose 2 or 3 this summer. I think they're in trouble. Players are looking at it and going, yeah, the project hasn't worked. I'm off. You know what I mean? Weather's not good. You're basically you're nearly in Scotland. You're on the Scottish border almost. So I think they've missed their chance. Yeah, it is one of the new training shirts. Yeah, I got involved, but we're champions. You do what you want when you're a champion, don't you? You know what I mean? Big up to the community. Big up Jan, who said, I need to say something. I still don't rate Arteta. And here is why. He did everything. Corners, throw-ins, but play better football. 2, his bad ID or player ID cost us many games, semi-finals, Bayern Madueke, Norgard, Havertz, etc. And he's the reason Saka has torn his hamstring and injured his Achilles. I was asked this question yesterday, and it's a controversial subject when you talk about it. And I said that somebody said, do I now rate Arteta highly as a manager? And I said, look, I have to give him some ratings because he's won the Premier League at Arsenal. I haven't seen it for 22 years. How am I not going to give him credit? But I still don't think he's an elite manager because I think to be an elite manager, I think you've got to win and win well. Do you know what I mean? I think you have to win with some style. I think you've got to improve players. Arteta has improved defensive players. He hasn't improved attacking players. And some of his talent ID has been questionable. Madueke was dreadful signing. Havertz should have never been signed. And the list goes on, Fabio Vieira. But I will give him the opportunity this season. I'm hoping that league title changes his mindset. He said, we have many injured players like Saka, now Declan, many different hamstring injuries. We won the league, but at what cost? Don't trust him with money. The thing is, he's won the league. He's going to sign a new contract. If he signs a new contract, you've got to give him money. Because there's no point in winning the league title and then saying that, well, we can't give him money because of what he's done. You actually got to give him money and say, okay, prove. But I agree with loads of what you said. Temi said, so Mourinho is not an elite manager. Well, that's a myth because people have got this myth that Mourinho never played good football. It's the biggest myth in football. It's the biggest myth in football. You telling me Mourinho's Chelsea didn't play good football? You telling me Mourinho got 100 points at Real Madrid? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there was teams, United, who were struggling where he defended too much, and Mourinho was defensive towards the end of his career. But Mourinho, we know firsthand that Mourinho played good football because we used to go to the Bridge and get absolutely battered. So the Mourinho doesn't play good football thing is a myth, bro. The guy got 100 points at Real Madrid. He won multiple titles at Chelsea. He won the treble at Inter Milan. I think Mourinho reflects whatever team he's got in front of him. If his team's not as good, then he will double down on the defense because he don't trust them. But if he's got a good attack, do you know what I mean? He'll play on the front foot. But listen, let's see what happens. I think that the overriding thing is when you win, you don't really care how you win. You're just sitting here going, yeah, we got the trophy. But I just would like to see us now go on the front foot a little bit next season and play a bit better. What are your thoughts on Tonali? I'm honestly not as hyped about signing him as a lot of other people because I don't think he's the right kind of midfielder. He sits back too much for me. I want an 8. I want a progressive midfielder that can create and score goals. Tonali and Rice, for me, is too rigid. It's too big, strong, defensive-minded. Tonali doesn't score goals. He doesn't really create goals. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to put Rice back in the 8? I don't want Rice in the 8. I think Rice is brilliant in the 6. Football is my opinion. Football, in my opinion, said, my only issue with you, Curtis, you said, Paul, you would take Simeone. That's where you lost me. Again, for me, a bit of a myth. People think that Atletico Madrid are just a defensive team, and I don't think they are. I don't think they are. People say, oh, Simeone, Atletico, they play defensive football. I disagree. Don't get me wrong. When they want to stink out the joint and defend, they will. They will. But they can attack. They knocked out Barcelona. They've been in Champions League finals. They've won league titles. They've had strikers that have thrived it. You know what I mean? Attacking players thrive under Simeone. Costa, Diego Costa, Griezmann, Falcao, Torres. You look at Alvarez, Lookman this year. So again, I think it's overplayed that Simeone just overly defends. They can attack when they need to. But yeah, listen, I don't mind the debate. Big up to the community. I respect it. A couple of things before we round up. I will be rounding up shortly. Big up to everyone. As I said, I'll be live tonight, 7:45, France against Senegal. Looking forward to that. Hopefully a better game than that stinker of a game last night. Spain against Cape Verde, although big up Cape Verde. As we're talking merch, I'm wearing new merch. As I said, there's a new blackout kit coming out. The JVC retro kit. They're bringing it out in black. I believe it's coming out around Christmas. A lot of people were saying this should be the away kit. Obviously, it wouldn't be JVC. It would be Emirates. But yeah, this is coming out as an extra kit. I'm not sure that... I don't think the team are actually playing in the kit. It's just obviously a retro kit. I think that is a masterpiece. I can't even lie. I can't lie, man. I'm all over that. I mean, I like that kit anyway. So, all black, that is clean. Yeah, just put the card details in. Make sure it's at my door the next morning. You know what I'm saying? I ain't moving from the front door. I want to hear a knock on the door. So, yeah, that is a masterpiece of a kit. I'm all over that. It's coming out towards Christmas, people. One last bit of transfer news. And yeah, good point, Master of Disaster. I will be live. Now it's 10 a.m. Sorry, not 10 p.m. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. UK time on Friday. The fixtures are released. I am doing a watch along for that because, as I've said, we've got a lot of players that are struggling physically at the World Cup. So we don't really want to be playing none of the bigger teams in the first couple of games. So yeah, 10 a.m. Friday, I'll be live. We'll do a little half an hour watch along for the fixtures. So make sure you're locked in for that. So today is the French game, 8 o'clock kickoff. Tomorrow is the England game, 9 o'clock kickoff against Croatia. And then Friday will be the fixtures at 10 a.m. And obviously we'll be doing 1:30 streams as well. I might even do the Argentina game tonight. They're playing at 2 a.m. We'll see how we go after the French game. We'll see. Messi at 2 a.m. I think they're playing Algeria, is it? Yeah, Algeria. We'll see. We'll see. But make sure you're here for the French game. Style won't change. He'll double down. Mark this. A lot of people have said that. I've been saying, is he going to change? People have said, why would he change? He just won the league. He might even double down on it and get more solid and structured. Tonali and Rice in midfield. Yeah, we might even do Ronaldo's game tomorrow as well because the England game's at 9. Portugal's at 6. So 6:45, 7. Yeah, we could finish that game and still have an hour for me to chill and edit. So maybe I'll do that as well tomorrow. Busy times, people. Busy times. Morgan Rogers. Goldberg CFC. He spoke about this yesterday, but he basically is saying that because he covers Chelsea and the expectation all throughout last season was that Rogers was going to go to Chelsea. They obviously haven't made Europe. New manager. He's saying that Morgan Rogers expects to join Arsenal this summer. Now, there is a story out today in the Daily Mail saying that basically Arsenal expect to sign Morgan Rogers after the World Cup. When I hear that, I always think, why would you buy him after the World Cup? I suppose from Arsenal's point of view, you could think, well, he's going to play 6 games in a short period of time. Imagine spending 100 million on a player and then he gets injured. I genuinely believe, just from what I've heard, and you guys know I speak to someone at Arsenal. He's never told me directly that we're signing him. It's just I can kind of pick up on how he talks about players. And when I asked about Rodgers, the way he was talking, it kind of just felt like we're definitely in for him. Like 100% we're in for him. And everything that we're hearing and reading is that Rodgers wants the Arsenal move. And why wouldn't he? Like, we're the champions. I know we look at our own team sometimes and think, well, Arteta and the football's not great. But you imagine being Rodgers, who left Man City, didn't get a chance in their first team. Arteta was assistant manager. He ends up in the Championship at Middlesbrough. Has to climb back up the ladder, does really well, nicks a move to Villa, does well, gets in the Champions League, wins the Europa League. The champions are waiting. They want you, Arsenal. London, the Emirates. You can see how good friends he is with Eze. Why would he not want the move? And we pay big wages as well. Morgan Rogers currently is on 150 grand a week at Aston Villa. His deal actually doesn't run out till 2031, so it would take a lot of money, so we'd probably have to give him 250 grand a week at least. Curtis, you were talking to the doctor. Yeah, the doctor who's just been sacked. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to make an offer for him. I can't say we're definitely going to get him because Aston Villa could turn around and go, well, Elliot Anderson, 120 million. We want 120 million, and then the deal won't happen. But if it's around 80 million, which they're saying, then I think we could be getting him, in my opinion. I saw that link today, Arsenal link to Alex Scott. It seemed to be more of an opinion that Arsenal like him. It wasn't really Arsenal are in for him. But Alex Scott's being linked with a lot of clubs. Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham. Now they're throwing Arsenal's name. Sometimes you wonder, is it just an agent putting it out there to drive up the price for his player. They'll do these things. Speak to somebody and say, "Oh, look, Arsenal are interested," and before you know it, a 40 million pound player is costing you 75, 80 million. So he is good. He had a really good game against Arsenal, and I've been impressed with him. I don't know if he's a Tottenham fan. I know he came through at Tottenham. Maybe he is a Tottenham fan, but who cares? I don't really care, to be honest. But I haven't really watched enough of him, to be honest, to know is he worth the money that they're quoting for him. Not so sure, but yeah, let's see. We're definitely looking at midfielders, that's for sure. Yeah, as I said, tonight, people, a couple more Arsenal players get underway. Obviously, Belgium drew last night with Egypt. Egypt looked very good, by the way. A lot of the African nations have started the tournament very well. Morocco got a draw with Brazil. Cape Verde drew with Spain. It'd be interesting to see how Senegal do against France and how Algeria do against Argentina. But yeah, Odegaard kicks off tonight, 11 p.m. against Iraq. You would expect them to win that. Odegaard and Haaland, and then obviously France are at 8 o'clock. They're the favourites to win the World Cup. I've put money on them, but Senegal are a dangerous team. Ndiaye from Everton, Ismaila Sarr, Nicholas Jackson, Sadio Mane, they've got dangerous players. And Saliba, let's see how he gets on. I think it will be him. Would it be him and Konate? Or he loves playing Upamecano. See, that's another thing. If Upamecano's in that team, they're in trouble. I do not rate that guy. So we'll see how they get on. Senegal, obviously, yeah, a lot of Senegalese-born players have played for France, so there's a connection there. This will be a tough game for the French. Just like England tomorrow, man. You like to have Croatia for your first game in a World Cup is not an easy start for England, man. You'd have wanted a much easier game than that. I know Croatia aren't what they used to be, but that's a tough start to the tournament, man. Mahad said, Curtis, when I heard the owners are planning to invest in the stadium, do you fear it will become the same as when we move from Highbury, or will they continue to keep investing? No, I don't think it will be the same. Building a new stadium cost an absolute fortune, but just redoing the stadium, I don't think it will break them. There might be a transfer window where they're like, look, you ain't got 200 million, you've got 100 million, because the stadium's going to cost, but I think they're looking to expand. I honestly think Josh would have looked at those celebrations. And you got to remember, for example, they're saying that this new home shirt is the biggest selling home shirt in the history of Arsenal Football Club. And it's not because it's the best home shirt. I don't even think it's that good. It's because Champions badge on it. They couldn't keep it on the shelf. I was in the Emirates today. They said it's genuinely taken 2-3 weeks to not have a 3-hour queue to get shirt printing on. Like, everything is selling out. Everything that's coming out, training kit, all of it is selling out straight away. He will look at it and go, yo, this club is humongous. Like, we need to continue to invest and make this even bigger. So I think they're going to keep pumping money into the club. I think they looked at them celebrations and went, wow, we didn't even realize what we had. We were a sleeping giant because we had no success to show anybody how big we were. The moment we won that Premier League, we went, look at this. Look at the parade. Look at the celebrations that we had that weren't even planned. 150,000 fans outside the Emirates on a Tuesday night after we won the league. Some clubs don't get 150,000 fans at their parade. Do you know what I'm saying? We had that at just a little shubs, a little get together in the evening. Yo, we've just won the league. Let's just go down there and have a look. Oh, there's 150,000 fans till 5 a.m. We showed him. He looked at that and went, listen, man, we got to keep investing. This club is huge. And I like the way Josh stuck around, handed over the trophy. The man was on the bus celebrating with the players. I think he knows what it means. He's younger, he's connected, he understands what football means. Apparently he played sport at a good level, in college level in America, basketball. So I think he's a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? He's a bit more connected to what's happening, man. I would love to see the Emirates get completely, because I look at that SoFi Stadium in America and it's just phenomenal. Honestly, I would love to see them just say, you know what, we're going to rebuild the stadium. But then that would take a long time and a lot of money. because 60,000 isn't big enough for Arsenal. I think Arsenal could have 100,000 fans. I honestly do. You know, like the new camp. Our stadium is huge. Hand of Arsenal retweeted something about Morgan Rogers. Oh, he did say he's going to give an update soon as well. So we'll wait for that, yeah. But he said when the time's right, I will give you an update about Rogers. Obviously, a lot going on in the background. He's at the World Cup. They'll be talking to his agent. Closed roof, yeah. Could see that happening. Listen, people, I am out of here. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate the support. Numbers were great as usual. Over 2,000 of you locked in. Yeah. Is anybody live? This is sort of time not many people are live, are they, in the afternoon like this? Can't see anyone live to redirect. Anyway, listen, I'll hopefully see you all tonight. 7:45 p.m. I'll be live. France against Senegal. Danny said, Hand of Arsenal, recent retweet about Rogers, update imminent. Yeah, he's going to put something out soon, so we'll wait for that. France against Senegal tonight, 7:45. Hope to see you all there. Big up to everyone locked in. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you.